what men pride their manhood on, ironically, is their success, is their money, is the size of their dick. And as much as we spend time trying to encourage men to see themselves as a full, multidimensional human being, and we try to remind men that you're a person, it's okay to have feelings, it's okay to see yourself beyond the vessel you've been born into, they still insist on clinging onto those patriarchal ideas about themselves. And that's the prison that they have unfortunately locked themselves in. And they are happily wearing that key. They don't care to dismantle the structures anytime soon.
Lou, if I raise up, gonna be trouble. Trouble. I'm walking off.
Some people are stand up and rise. Some people are sit and cry.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. And what I'm going to talk about is feminism is not going to pay the check. Feminism is not going to pay the bill. And here's the issue that keeps coming up. Because if I take this young lady's example and I take men out of this equation, the things that women benefit off of men in society benefits off of, women are not going to do it. Especially feminists. Feminism is not going to pave the roads, okay? You're not going to get women to get together and say, let's pave these roads. Feminism is not going to build an energy grid. It's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Feminism is not going to build a plant and hire a bunch of women to build, cars, trucks, helicopters, trains, boats. It's not going to do that. It's not. And, feminism is not going to have a farm and all the women grow the food and pick the food and distribute the food to the United States of America. Feminism not going to do that. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Like that feminism is not going to build planes and build airports and maintain the airports. Feminism is not going to do that. Feminism is not going to build the resorts, that women like to travel to and be at. Feminism is not going to do that. Feminism is not going to build all of the leisurely things that women love. Feminism is not going to do that. Feminism is not going to the opposite of dismantle. We need to dismantle the patriarchy. Feminism is not going to build their own matriarchy. They're not going to do that. So, and people have this issue where, they don't understand why, let's just say, men don't take women serious when it comes to feminism, is because the things that it takes to run a society, women want to dismantle that. And they don't, and it doesn't make sense. You're not going to we're going to dismantle the patriarchy. That would dismantle the hospital. That would dismantle the military. That would dismantle construction. That would dismantle, all the businesses in the country that you benefit from. So if we dismantle all of that, then what? And the thing about it is, like I said, feminism isn't going to pay the, is going to pay the check. Because if everything got dismantled, unfortunately, men's experience with women is, when a woman says we need to just stop doing all of this stuff, and then it falls apart. Women don't go, now it's time to roll up my sleeves and get it done. They don't do that. They start crying, complaining, and looking at the men to do stuff. So, feminism doesn't pay the cost. It just complains about the you know, about the ambiance. And the other thing about that is, y'all got to stop equating feminism and racism as the same thing, and trying to piggyback off of racism, because I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Racism has a component where, because racism includes both genders, but racism has a thing where we need to keep this race at bay. We need to sabotage them. We need to do things to make sure they aren't prosperous, because if we don't, they'll take over. You get what I'm saying? Feminism doesn't have that. Like, as much as ladies wanna be feminists, there's not a fear that feminism will take over anything. Men aren't like, we're going to sabotage these women and make sure that they don't, they aren't as smart and capable as everybody else, and we're going to sabotage them financially to make sure they don't, start businesses and start, transportation and operations and in logistics. That's nowhere in the plans, because time and time again, women have proved men right with, you ain't willing to do the heavy lifting. Nobody's fearing a takeover of women. You get what I'm saying? So that's where y'all have a real bad logical problem. Like, there's not a fear. Like, and then on top of that, one of the weirdest things about these scenarios is, and there's no nice way to say this, when we see feminists and they're trying to be free, they're just basically doing twirls, you know, in the in a botanical garden. They just, I can spin around in the sun rays, and I can be barefoot, and I have a dress that twirls, and I like the sky. It's like, listen, shut up, shut the hell up. Like, there's no responsibility involved. There's just aimless, well, the fruit's going to grow on its own, and the food's going to cook itself, and the road is going to take care of itself. Like this idea that, that the air conditions are going to run forever on their own. It's like, no, feminism don't want to pay the check, man. And I say pay the check because you got feminists who won't pay for a date. You know what I'm saying? Let's go there. Let's start at the bottom level. You don't like patriarchy, but you ain't trying to dismantle that by paying for a date. You're not trying to dismantle that by asking a guy out on a date. You're not trying to dismantle that by, how can I say this? You have a problem if you pay a guy alimony. You have a problem if you lose custody and pay child support. You have an issue with these things. You have an issue if a guy is a stay-at-home dad and you are a quote-unquote working woman. You have an issue with that. And the reason why I use the dating and family dynamic of it is because to get, to dismantle patriarchy, you have to get yourself in those roles if you want to dismantle it. You don't want to do that. That's not what you want to do. As a matter of fact, if you put yourself in that position and the guys in the, let's just say, homemaker position, you instantly think he's just a lazy bum who's wasting his life. So, but if you're doing it, it's the hardest working job on the planet, and it's like, oh, okay. So taking care of the family when you're doing it at home is the hardest working job. But if a man's doing it, he's doing absolutely nothing. And if you become a provider, it's the most stressful thing in the world. But for a man, it's normal. So all of these things, like, are simple for men to go, patriarchy, quote unquote, is never going anywhere because, let's be honest, you're not going to work to replace it with anything. You want what do you want? Some magical men to come on along that aren't patriarchal and pick up all the patriarchal things and then, stop it. We dismantle patriarchy and now we have men just doing all the patriarchal stuff, and I get to put on eyelashes and a wig and try to talk deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing. If you want to dismantle patriarchy, you're gonna have to dismantle, your comfort in, beauty standards and beauty. The fake eyelashes got to go, the wigs got to go, the nails got to, the fake nails got to go. Oh yeah, spa day got to go, brunch got to go. Discounts for women got to go. Mother's Day being celebrated, you got to have it. You got to be treated like Father's Day now. And here we go. You don't want to do that. Women got to work super hard, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours. And men just got to walk around and be handsome and twirl around and women give them money. You don't want to do that. You absolutely don't want to do that. So stop playing this game like, it's really an issue. Because basically it's just a time wasting tool. That's what it looks like. It's a time wasting tool. You want to be grown playing like you're a sorceress. I'm a sorceress and I'm manifesting, dismantling the patriarchy. Shut the hell up. I'm burning sage and incense and it's going to change the world. Yeah. You don't want to do any of the heavy lifting. So that's what you're going to do instead. Oh, okay. Let's see how far that gets you. But I'm going to leave it at that, man. You tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna tell you that.